Yo, what's going on, everybody? UltimatDjz here from the Teaching Trek YouTube video, here with another video from Star Trek Fleet Command. And as promised, we're going to do kind of a time-lapse kind of display of what the Defiant has been able to do for us. First, I would like to welcome you into the channel and ask that you subscribe, share with your team, all that fun stuff while you're here. But without making you wait too awful long, let's just go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty. What we're going to talk about today is the USS Defiant and how its progression, how its upgrade and or the research and or the cloak can actually have an impact on these solo armadas that you're actually tackling. The first thing that I want to do is kind of go back. Now, it would be great if we had like time-lapse video of this stuff, but thankfully, thanks to Spox.club, we've actually got records of all these battle logs that we've actually uploaded. So we can go back and we can take a look here. For example, here was from October 6th, the beginning of last month, when Solar Armadas were introduced, a 50 uncommon for me. Now, I am an Ops 49, so this is probably about what I should be trying to hit, but you can see here, we came in, this was a 50 uncommon. We ran no boost. Of course, the Defiant wasn't out, so if we come down here and take a look, you can see that I ran with the Pylum, I ran with a Jellyfish and an Auger, and I did not survive. Okay, that was the result of this battle. I have mine on dark mode, so that's why it shows black instead of white, but I did not survive. This was a loss. We come here and take a look at a couple of others where we actually changed things up. Here was a 50 uncommon solo when we ran Picard Beverly. And you can see here, didn't do well. This again was a 50 uncommon, really struggled. And again, if you recall, this was before Defiant, so here again, running Pylum. We tried the Enterprise instead of the Auger, still running the Jellyfish. Let's see what else we've got in here. Here was a... Let's see, a 50 uncommon where we ran full on attack, all the boost, all the exos, we ran the cloaks. And this, again, being a 50 uncommon, we finally got that there. And that was the result of using all these different tools, Cerritos boost and cloaks and all the max epics, or max exos, rather. And this was something that we talked about on the podcast, which this could end up being really expensive. All the exos that you would run out that would be, you know, of high value, like the 300% Armada exo and the max damage exos and all this stuff. That stuff is hard to come by, especially on a reliable basis. And then, of course, the Cerritos juice. Very, very valuable, especially for those of you Tier 5 who have the Wednesday events. You know that that takes a lot of boost juice, so you're not trying to blow a bunch of that on these solo armadas, especially if you're having to come in at a couple of different times a week and run these. So this was a success, but very, very expensive. Then we come up and we take a look at a 51 uncommon. You can see this is about a week or two later, October 18th. We come in and we take a look at the ships that we were running on this one. We had narrowed it down to a Pylum, an Enterprise, and an Auger at this point. Again, Defiant not out yet, and trying to run some different crews and so forth to take a look and see how we were going to be able to do. This was a failure. Of course, we were running no boost. But again, a 51 uncommon with no boost, and still running G3 epics along one G4 rare, okay? So still not a terrible performance here, but it was indeed a loss, all right? Then we can flash forward here a little bit and take a look at some of the stuff that we've been able to pull off here in November. If I've got some of these, I would hope. Let's see here, 51 uncommon, solo, no boost. I think we looked at that one a second ago. That was a loss. Anyway, as we have done here some on Twitch over the last couple of weeks, we have certainly seen ourselves punching up with this. We've seen the ability then to come in and do 51, 52 rares, even a 53 epic we've been able to kind of pull off here by using the Defiant and some of its research. As we've discussed, the power of the Defiant absolutely, definitely falls in the research. Now, of course, tiering the Defiant isn't going to hurt anything, but it's absolutely the power of that research where it really is making a huge play. I was looking for some others, but I may... here we go. These are some of the ones that we had just run. For example, Picard, Beverly, Eurydice against a 53 epic. We ran Defiant boost. We ran Cerritos boost. This is just here about a week or so ago on November 22nd. We can pull this up and see that this particular battle log was indeed a success right there, okay? And that was a 53 epic. We were dying against 50 uncommons back in October. So already seeing an impact there, but my Defiant is actually only Tier 3. All right, we come over here and take a look. It is a tier 3, level 15. If we come in and take a look at some of the research that we've got, I have been really investing. Now, I haven't spent any money on research particles yet, but I have put everything that I could into this section of research, and I've built it up a fairly good amount because I've been doing double pulls of the research particles since the moment that I could. So what we're going to do here tonight, what Scopley has provided and what we are going to demonstrate for you is being able to kind of max this research out for my ops level. We're going to take the Defiant up a couple of tiers, and we're going to see how impactful that can be for me as an individual player. You've seen some of my battle logs and you've seen some of the Twitch. We're going to see how much more this thing can do. We're going to run a couple of tests tonight without using any types of boost other than the Defiant. So we're going to try to conserve our Cerritos boost juice. And then at the end of the video, we are going to do the crazy. We're going to do the impossible, and we're actually going to try with the ships that I've been running. That would be a Pylum, an Enterprise, and a Defiant. We are, in fact, going to try a level 53 uncommon, which is the first level of the G5 armadas. That's probably still not going to go well, but we'll see how powerful this research really is. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to blast through a bunch of this research. You guys just bear with me, and here we go. Done with the research, and that was a gag me expensive amount of latinum. Scopley, I'm sending you the bill for that, and the lithium and okay, but here's what we've done. We've taken this research up, all right, as high as we can go. I'm Ops 49. This is going to require Ops level 50 to get to that next level. Ops level 50 there. I guess the same thing, Ops 51 here. We got that one, which was increasing accuracy. I don't know why that one in particular. That one's going to require Ops 50, and then, of course, Ops 50 to get past level 8 of the damage buff. All right, so our research is now completely maxed. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the Cerritos. We're going to take the Defiant, and we're going to tier that up a little bit. And go as far as, I believe, maybe tier 5, possibly tier 6. We're going to see how that goes here. We're taking a look at some of this stuff. Now, do keep in mind, there are some subtle nuances as we upgrade the Defiant. We do want to go back into the Bajoran store, right? We want to go back into the Bajoran store and claim a couple of things as we go along, because what's happening here is that every single time we tier this thing, we're going to be able to come into the Defiant store and make a couple of extra claims. So that's what we're going to do, and come into the faction store, if I can get it loaded, and you're going to see that a lot of this stuff has reset for us. So we're going to claim our new Bajoran favors. That's getting us to tier 4 or level 4 over here of the quantum torpedoes, now getting us to 125% increase in kinetic damage and a 13% chance at reloading that kinetic weapon, the energy weapon of the Defiant when we're battling the solo armadas. So that's going to have an impact there as well. And we're going to take our warp component right there, and we're going to come back through and do all of these extra claims here again. You can see my Defiant Amplified claim increased because now I'm at tier 4 instead of tier 3. So that's going to reset and increase, and we're going to come through and claim the rest of our stuff. All right, we've done all of our claims. We're going to come back. We're going to tier the ship up again, and then we're going to level it up. We're going to go as far as we can, all right? So let's just see with how much Scopley gave. I think they gave enough for tier 5. I don't think we're going to get to tier 6. We'll see. Actually, I can say we're probably not, given the number of uncommon parts we've got, but we're going to tier that thing up again. And we're going to come back into the Bajoran store and do our claims again. Get our tier 5 favors. That's going to boost those favors over here again up to level 5. And we're going to do our warp drive component claim and get the rest of our parts. Also note here that the ablative amplifiers, that amount of boost juice, that cap also goes up every single time that we tier the ship as well. All right, so we are set to go there, and I don't think that there's anything more we can do on the Defiant as far as upgrades. Well, maybe. Let's see. We can do... You know what? We'll do this. That's going to get me a little bit more cloaking duration, but probably not a huge difference there. So we're going to do that. And that's pretty much it. We can do one extra weapon, so we'll do that. And that is going to pretty much tap us out. We don't have the parts to do anything else. All right, so we've got that now. Also, we've got the Edicts bonus over here, so we're going to spend some Latinum to get the ship XP up to level 25. That is going to increase our Edicts bonus. Of course, we saw that a second ago. It was less than 386, but we're also going to take this thing up. It's also adding to our hull health, as well as some of our other defensive mitigations. So we're going to keep going on that and get this thing up to level 25, which is going to further increase the loot bonus that we're going to get here as well. Now we can see up to 442%. This is at tier 5, all right? So what we're going to do next is let's head on over to Dominion Space, and at this point we are going to run our 4 Armada tests, all right? We're going to start with a 51 uncommon, and we're not going to run anything other than 1 Defiant boost. So we'll meet you up there in just a second. So welcome back, and we are ready to do this 51 uncommon. Now, what we have done with a lot of our previous tests is we have been running and testing with some exo comps. We've been testing with some cloaking and things like that. The Cerritos, which I'm going to leave at home. I also want to verify and show you right now I've got no exo comps active, so we're not using any of those. And we're going to pop into this thing. Now, just as a quick reminder of the crew that I'm using, and I do think that there are potentially slightly better crews out there. Also, depending on your ops level, depending on the other ships that you're using, I do consider myself to be at kind of a disadvantage here because I've got one G4 ship. I've got a G4 Pylum, G4 Rare Pylum, but that's it. All right, so then I'm also flying the G3 Epic Enterprise, and then, of course, the Defiant. Now, just as a real quick aside, we've done a lot of tinkering with this crew, and I had originally kind of thought about Paul Zhao, but we have replaced that with Cisco in the captain's chair because he actually is getting just a little bit more of that mitigation going, but we still have Kirk for the morale to keep the shields up, and Lorca inspiring that hull breach so that my Pylum is going to be able to throw some nastier, bigger shots. Don't forget, we've got that hull breach going on, but we've also got that research that is going to increase my critical chances and increase my critical damage. That is coming from the Defiant boost. So there is a method to my madness, so to speak, with the ships that I'm using. And even these crews are absolutely going to vary based on the ships and the firing patterns and this and that you guys are using. We're also going to take a look here at Picard, Beverly, and Eurydice. And this is kind of a whole different thing that we talk about with Eurydice and the way that she procs and regenerates your shields. And we've got Picard and Beverly there for the extra mitigation and boosting Eurydice over a 100% chance. Again, lots of testing on Twitch with this. And it may prove that we don't need this because we're going to be looking for some edicts and loot bonuses here as well. But here's what we're going to do first. This is our first one. We are going to start this 51 uncommon. We're going to run nothing but a singular Defiant boost on the Pylum. Like, that's all we're going to do. We're going to run one Defiant boost on the Pylum, and that is all we're running. No exos, no other cloaks, nothing else. This is all we're going to run. So we're going to fast forward here about 1 minute, and we'll be right back and see how this one goes. All right, guys, we're back. 8 seconds left on the timer. You can see we do, in fact, have our Defiant boost over here. It's still got like 2.5 minutes left on it. And here we are going against the 51 uncommon Solo Armada. And wow, that was a huge... Even the Defiant survived, which is okay. So, listen, I might even come back and say, you take a look at the hull damage here of the Pylum, very, very minimal. The Enterprise survived. Even the Defiant survived. Now, absolutely proving to me that I had a little bit of leeway here with this Armada, in which I could have potentially run a loot crew actually on the Defiant. What we have actually been able to prove as well is that the Defiant is affecting the Edict's loot of the entire Armada. So I got 481, which is absolutely great. But if we had run a loot crew, like a Geordie crew, for example, on the Defiant, then that does affect the Edict loot bonus for the entire Armada. Now, not the Armada credits, but just the Edicts is how that works. It's still a healthy number of Edicts for an uncommon. So that test, absolutely an overwhelming success. Very happy with that. Let's step it up. We're going to do the exact same test. 1 Defiant boost, 1... and that's it. Nothing else. No exos, no cloaks, nothing else. And we're going to go against a 52 rare, and we're going to see how that goes. We're going to leave the crew the same and everything. So we'll be back here in 90 seconds. All right, welcome back in, everybody. As we just tested on the 51 uncommon, absolutely probably some wiggle room and some room to play with the crew of the Defiant to maybe boost a little bit of extra edicts and get a few extra edicts out of that. But for the purposes of this test, to keep everything the same, we are running the exact same crew on the Defiant. Now we're going to run the exact same scenario, except this time we're going to punch up to a 52 rare. All right, these things do have a little bit more bite to them, but again, just like last time, we are going to run a singular Defiant boost. And I gotta say, after the performance of the Defiant boost against the 51 uncommon, I actually am pretty hopeful. As a matter of fact, we might be able to pop into STFC.space, where we were looking at some of these Gemhadar hostiles a little bit ago. The 51 uncommon at 185 million power. Now we're looking at the 52 rare at 204 million power. It's not a huge jump there. Even then, looking at the 53 epic at 234 million power. Again, not vast, huge jumps in power. So we should be able to have a relatively decent idea even about how we might do in that epic based on the outcome of this particular test. And again, as you can see, we ran 1 singular Defiant boost on the Pylum. There it is, the Armada reinforcement. Got about 3 minutes left on that clock. And that's it. No other cloaks, no other exo comps. Those are still empty over here. Not running anything special, okay? No Cerritos boost, nothing like that. So we're going to see how this goes here in just about 12 more seconds, and then we're going to do the exact same thing. We'll take a look at the outcome of this battle, and then we're going to recall, and we're going to come down here, and we're going to try on a 53 epic. And then after that, we are going to use our last uncommon directives tonight to try a G5 Armada with all the stuff. That's exciting, and I'm going to show you more about that. So here we go. Again, a 52 rare and exactly the same similar style of results. Actually, very, very surprising results. I was just kind of observing in between that break. This is the first time my Defiant has survived one of these level Armadas, okay? I know that it's only from tier 3 to tier 5, and it's still taking a beating, but it's surviving, which is more than I can say for any other Armada that we have run. And again, we're taking a look now at these edicts bonuses because of the loot bonus of the ship. Significant amounts of edicts. There was 1 rare that's going to get me enough for an entire edict pull. Very, very fantastic. And you take a look at the Pylum hull health remaining there. Even the Enterprise, not a heck of a lot. Taking a look at the battle log, also going fewer rounds. We were running these in 17 and 18 rounds the other day, so 15 rounds, less time to take damage, more damage output, absolutely. You know, let's take a look and see if we can find some of the shots from the Pylum here. Extra crit chance is giving me some extra crits up front. You can see 7 million power shots. Even the Defiant coming in with a critical of its own of 2.5 million power. So definitely throwing out some nice damage there. The Pylum, again, consistently around 6 to 7 million power. And we come here, take a look at the next round where the Pylum is throwing consistent criticals. Even the Enterprise throwing a fair number of criticals there, but very consistent and very solid damage output. So we're going to go home, we're going to repair, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to push our luck. We're going to run the exact same test against a 53 epic. And notice, no Cerritos boost here, okay? This is just the Defiant. We're going to run it again. We'll be back in 90 seconds. Welcome back, everybody. Here we are. We're going to tackle our 3rd out of 4 Armada test here tonight. This is a 53 epic, and as we have discussed, taking a look at these listings of these Armadas, this is it. This is the end of what I would refer to as G4 territory, because you take a look at this 53 epic right here. Take a look at the 53 uncommon and the over 100 million power difference in power right there. That is what I have deemed to be the cutoff for G5 territory. You come in here, there's nothing lower than a 53 on the second page. So here we go. This is it. A 53 epic is kind of the reach, the end of the range of G4 in just my opinion, based on the power. You start here with a 53 at 340 million power. Then you come into the 54 rare at 390 million power. And I doubt we're going to try one of those tonight. We will try the 340 million power with all the stuff coming up here in just a minute. But we're going to run our same test, same kind of control, same everything here. One Defiant boost, no exos, and no cloaks. No Cerritos boost. I've got the Cerritos here. You can see it's still in dock at home. It's not even here. So we're going to run the Defiant boost on the Pylum like we've been doing. And that is what we're going to do with this 53 epic. I'm actually very optimistic. I'm not going to lie, a little bit surprised by the 51 and the 52 rare test, just kind of surviving that. The fact that the Defiant is surviving, which doesn't typically happen, and that is coming strictly in the upgrade of the ship. The fact that the ship is actually getting more powerful, it's getting more hull health, and therefore putting out more damage, and just increasing its survivability in these armadas. The fact that it's surviving is actually somewhat surprising to me. And, of course, this is a 53. The top end of the what I would call the G4 range of armadas, and we're running it with one singular G4 ship, a Tier 5 Defiant, a Tier 5 now, and a G3 Epic Enterprise. Like, that's it. No 40, G4 uncommon, not a second G4 rare. This is one G4 ship, a G3 ship, and a Defiant. We're going to see how we fare right here. No exos, no Cerritos support. One singular Defiant support on my lead brute ship and a Tier 5 Defiant. Here we go. 4 seconds left on a 53 epic, and I'm feeling good about this. I think we got it in the bag. Let's check it out and see how we do. There we go. Now, much closer, but still no extra exos, no extra cloaks, and no Cerritos juice, which is very, very important to a lot of us who play the Cerritos events on Wednesday. We still probably had about 20% hull health there, so not necessarily within a margin of error. We probably could duplicate this test again, and we come in here 9,600 edicts. That singular armada right there, good for a double pull out of the edicts chest, and we did very, very well against this thing. 18 rounds is how far we went. The Defiant, let's just see how long that thing survived. Let's just fast forward here to about round 5, 6, 7. There's the Defiant, still alive in 7, still alive in 8, still alive in 9, still alive in 10. There it is. It's still alive in 11. There it is in 12. Still alive in 14, 15, 16. The Defiant did not, there it is, alive. It finally died in round 17 out of 18. There it is. The Defiant got destroyed. That is relatively significant improvement over how it has performed in the past. So we've got one final test, and we are going to go all plumb out for this one. I've got a surprise for you, folks. We are going to break the G4, G5 boundary, and we're going to come back. And yes, we're still going to do it with a G3 Epic. Back in 90 seconds. Don't miss this. All right, guys, welcome back to the video. This is going to get a little bit crazy. I'm all about pushing the boundaries. I'm probably going to die a fiery death, but I wanted to actually go for it on this one. We're going to do something crazy. We're going to break the G4 plane. We're going to go up to these G5 armadas. Now, this time, I'm going to use every tool. I mean, this is an extra 100 million power. I'm going to use every tool that the game gives me. I'm going to use Defiant. I'm going to use Cerritos. I'm going to use the Exos. You can see here I've got 3 of them activated. I don't even have the big Armada one. I've only got the 165%. I'm out of the 300%, so we're going to run that one. We're running Pylum damage, an extra 200% damage from the Interceptor, and we're going to run extra boost to officer stats. That's going to help our mitigation on the Enterprise. It's going to help our mitigation on the Defiant. It's going to help our piercing on the Pylum. So it's going to do a lot of good things there with the officer stats. We're also going to come up here and take a look and go ahead and summon up the same 3 ships, same 3 crews. Haven't changed anything. And I do have now the Cerritos is here. Now, I have to time this somewhat carefully. The Cerritos I'm not worried about. It's got like a 7-minute boost on it, so I've got plenty of time to get that working. We also have a Defiant Cloak we're going to use. We are going to use the Defiant Cloak. It's good for 8 minutes. I don't really have to worry about a lot of crazy overlap there. Same thing with the Enterprise. It's good for 7 minutes and 55 seconds. The key here is going to be timing the Defiant boost, because I'm going to try to do that to more than one ship. All right. We're only going to be able to do it on 2 because it can't boost itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is we are going to come in. We're going to go ahead and boost this thing. It will last 3 minutes and 40 seconds, so we're going to start that. I have no idea what the actual cooldown on this thing is, so we're just going to watch the icon. Oh, you guys can't see it because of the cat. I'll slide over there a little bit. I don't even know what it is. Is it 2 minutes? I hope it's only 2 minutes, maybe 2.5, as long as it's less than the actual cooldown of the Armada ability. But we also have to time the start of this thing so that there's still time on this one, and we've got a 90-second timer out here. So we have to start this Armada with absolutely probably no fewer than a minute 40 or a minute 45 on this timer. And so hopefully we can see it's only about a third of the way full. Golly, I hope there's enough time, because I don't even know what the cooldown is on activating that thing. But we're going to come back. We're going to watch this thing. And like I said, at about a minute 45 is when we're actually going to start this Armada. That will allow me to have 2 Defiant boosts. We'll have 2 Cloaks, and we'll have 2 Cerritos boosts on all of these ships here, okay? That's actually, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and Cerritos boost this one right here. That's going to last 8 minutes, because I also want to do a Cerritos boost here on the Enterprise, all right? And I don't think I've got time to do it on the Defiant, although that would have been smarter of me to have actually thought about doing that. I could have gotten 1 extra boost in there. So we're going to see how that goes. We're down to 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So in about 30 seconds, I must start this timer, no matter what, or I'm going to lose my first boost before the Armada would go off. All right, coming back over. Cooldown looks like I should be good to get another one in there. So we're going to do that. We've got 16 seconds left before we must start this Armada. This is a 53 uncommon. Big power, 340 million. It's not going to likely end well for me, but we're going to go with it. We've only got 1 shot. This is my last set of directives. This is all we're going to be able to do. All right, so we've got these 3 ships that are in now. We're going to go ahead and cloak the Enterprise. Let's go ahead and bang that out. We will also cloak the Defiant. We are using every tool available to us. We're going to take a look over here at the Cerritos, which is not ready yet on its cooldown, but we do have another cooldown here. We're going to Defiant support the Enterprise. All right, so we're going to do that. So now we got 2 Defiant supports. We're waiting on the Cerritos. Goodness gracious, come on with the cooldown on that. Is it going to... I might have missed it. Good thing I did the pylon. I'm wanting to do another one, but I might not have enough time. Is it going to refill? Did I mess up my timers? Probably. We've got 42 seconds on the clock. Maybe it fills up fast enough for me to get the Enterprise Cerritos supported. That would be a significant failure on my part if it did not. Oh boy, it's going to be close. We're crazy. It's mad science over here. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to fill up. I think we're going to have just a few seconds to spare, but I think we're going to be able to do it. Woo! It's going to be a close one. It's going to be a close one. There we go. Okay, it's full. Cerritos support the Enterprise. There we go. 12 seconds left on the timer. We've got Exos. We've got Cerritos support. We've got Defiant. We've got the Cloak on the Defiant. We've got the Cloak on the Enterprise. This is everything I can do. Will we survive? Let's find out. A G5 Armada. Oh, no. No. That's a G5 Armada, DJ. What are you thinking? All right. Did surprisingly well. Did surprisingly well on that thing, given the fact that we're still using G3 epic ships. All right. Or at least one of them, a G3 epic ship, and only 1 G4. That was actually better than I expected. I figured I was just going to kind of bounce off that thing. This is a G5 Armada. You can see how much impact we did actually have there based on all the tools available. Listen, somebody running a pair of G4 ships probably easily takes this thing out. This is your time-lapse evolution from 20 days ago till right now on the Defiant research, the Defiant ship abilities, and even potentially the cloak. Let's see, just out of curiosity, I wonder what kind of shots we were throwing here. There's the Defiant with its cloaking bonus getting up to 3.5 million. And of course, do remember, I've got hull breach going on here. That hull breach is affecting the target, which is making all of my critical shots even bigger, and that's super duper important. This battle still lasted 16 rounds, which is mildly impressive, but we did in fact defeat or get the defeat against a G5 target. And again, not really surprising, but the fact that the Defiant is holding its own in such a way does still lead me to my final conclusion on this Defiant. It is making significant changes. It's making significant impact to your play. If for no other reason than to punch up, get the extra loot so that you can come back in here to this Bajoran store and actually get more stuff out of it faster, okay? You might absolutely find yourself in a position to be able to come in here and do a double pull instead of a single. You might be able to come in here and do a double pull of the rare loot instead of a single. You're going to be able to absolutely use your loop here, use your timing of your directives, and really absolutely no reason that you cannot do a double pull with the edicts absolutely every single time that it cools down. And that ultimately is the payoff of this Bajoran loop. Community, what do you think? Leave your questions down below. Are you impressed with the Defiant? Because I kind of am. And I know it's going to be a minute before low spend or free to play get this thing to tier 5, get all that research done. But this is what you have to look forward to. These are the results that you're going to see and the kind of fast tracking progression that you're going to get as the Defiant progresses on and your ability to cut through these targets increases with time. Leave your questions down below. While you're at it, please do subscribe to the channel. I'd very much appreciate you doing that. Clicking the little bell so you know when we do other kinds of content here. Share it with all your friends. That's super important too. And of course, like this one, give us a nice big 2 paws up and leave us some nice comments down below. I'd be happy to answer your questions or otherwise just, hang out and chat with you. Be sure to check us out on our other platforms as well, on our podcast and on our Twitch channel, as we're always doing craziness like this. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. My name is UltimatDjz. I'm your friendly neighborhood cat person saying meow for now. Love you, mean it. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye, everybody. Meow. 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 Meow.